Hey everyone, I'm Isaac and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2024. It's November and that's basically Christmas, so it's to be expected that this is around the time that Hollywood really starts getting into the Christmas spirit. And one of the more notable examples this year is Red One, which has actually had a pretty interesting history with its production. The film would star Dwayne Johnson and was being produced under his 7 Bucks Productions label with the director of the Jumanji reboot duology, Jake Kasdan, at the helm. Also, it was originally going to be exclusive to Amazon Prime Video, but after Amazon merged with MGM, it was decided that Red One would instead be going to theaters. From there, the film's budget was inflated to $250 million, which could be attributed to The Rock constantly being late to shooting, sometimes not even being there at all. I knew the guy had an ego, but even I'm surprised it ended up making this the second most expensive film MGM has made to date. And once we finally saw what Red One would look like, I was indifferent towards it. I already knew this was gonna be absolutely ridiculous, but I didn't know if it'd be stupid and fun, or just stupid. The only way I'd know for sure was by watching it, and surprisingly enough, Red One was actually coming out a week earlier here in Japan than in the US. But regardless of how soon I was able to see it, it was still pretty bad. It takes place in a world where mythological beings actually exist, and one of those beings is Santa Claus, also known as Red One. He and his bodyguard Callum Drift are preparing for Christmas when he suddenly gets kidnapped by a sorceress wanting to use his power to punish all the naughty people in the world. So Drift has to team up with elite tracker Jack O'Malley to rescue Santa and save Christmas. Now, I'll admit, some of the concepts presented here aren't that bad. Hell, had there been some retooling done to the writing and world building, then this could have been really good. Sadly, that was not the case with Red One. Instead, it's a boring and formulaic action movie that just so happens to be set during Christmas, and the admittedly intriguing ideas are all but wasted in execution. What we're left with is a standard buddy comedy about an estranged father learning to connect with his kid and care about other people, with tedious pacing and little in the way of building upon the concepts it presents. Not even the actors were able to save this movie. Sure, there's some talented names in the cast, and J.K. Simmons gave a good performance for how limited his screen time was, but given the disastrous writing and poorly delivered jokes, they weren't much help in improving the experience. And on that note, for a film that's supposed to be a comedy, Red One isn't all that funny. I guess some of the jokes were mildly amusing, but otherwise the humor was consistently weak and more often than not had me going,
I don't get it. Why is that funny?
Okay, so the writing and humor are pretty bad. At the very least, can the visuals and action scenes give this movie something good to work with? Not really. I'll give it that it had some nice production design and a few good-looking shots, but visually speaking, I find it hard to believe this cost $250 million to make. The CG characters stick out like a sore thumb, and there's a lot of obvious chroma key effects in this film. And unfortunately, the action scenes aren't much better. The choreography is unremarkable, the editing is terrible, the score is lame as hell, and a lot of the locations don't feel all that creative in how they were used. I wish it could have at least been stupid and enjoyable, but unfortunately, Red One is just stupid. Even its few good qualities are all but wasted given the terrible writing and humor, weak VFX, and unengaging action. If you want something to get you in the Christmas spirit, or an action flick to kill 2 hours of your time, there's much better stuff out there that you could be watching instead. And considering how I'm giving Red One a 3 out of 10, that statement really holds true. Thankfully, next time I'll be watching something I'm actually excited for, Gladiator 2. I'm still finishing the first Gladiator at the time of me recording this video, but I'm really looking forward to this new one, and I have hope it'll make up for how underwhelming Ridley Scott's previous film was. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2024, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all later.